How much of your own head do you reckon you could eat?
Not enough.
You would need...
Not enough to be full.
You would need the brain, and you would need the mouth.
Do you know you always see your nose, but your brain just chooses to ignore it?
It's a very clever brain.
Oh my god.
It's like all my other problems.
Oh my god, no! No!
It's
My
always-
brain will never ignore it now!
It's always there in your vision.
Hey, I'm Nick!
I'm Steph.
And I am Miles.
And that is Chris, the screenplay fish, aka today, Gallennial Falcon, named
Oh.
by Fred Bump.
Oh,
that
Fred.
is so
Fred.
good.
Oh god, it's getting a slow cat clap off camera.
Oh, Fred.
If you want to name that fish, use the hashtag name that fish in the comments below and let us know your suggestions. But we are not here to talk about fish names like we do every episode. We're here because Sea of Thieves, my friends, was never going to live up to that hype. Are you playing Sea of Thieves right now?
Not at this present moment, but I have been playing a lot of it.
Give us just your both initial impressions on this game.
It's very pretty, but it's ultimately like the most shallow experience I've had gaming since like Monopoly.
Look, it's taking everything that I loved about the pirate warfare of Black Flag and putting it in a multiplayer setting.
Yeah.
I think it was always going to be an emergent kind of game. I'm sorry to use that word.
Yes. I mean, no, I think we've moved past the years where that became the buzzword. I think it's enough time has
I'm
passed.
allowed to use it again.
We've taken it back.
It feels like a pejorative.
Emergent gameplay meaning like, you know, you make your own fun and the stories that come out of that game are the ones that players create from interacting with each other. Like Minecraft was hugely successful because it gave you a massive sandbox and a bunch of tools to kind of mess around in there with.
What did Sea of Thieves not do?
Give you a bunch of tools to, yeah, I mean, at the moment it seems to be the primary objective is getting as much gold as you can to buy cosmetic upgrades for your pirate ship.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is very enticing.
I mean, I think that the issue that I've come across, and I've been thinking about it a lot over the weekend, is that this game feels like, in some part, the game that Rare wanted to make. It doesn't feel like we were lied to about what the experience is going to be that much. Obviously, there was a bit of selling by Rare. Every time I had an interview with someone from Rare, they were like, oh yeah, the game is going to have all this, like, a long lifespan and blah, 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 because they're selling the game. But I don't feel like there are things that they said were going to be there that aren't here. There's not, like, they said there were going to be raids, and there's no raids.
Do you think there's a lot of stuff still to come?
I think potentially they will add things. I think the issue, though, is that the perception that Microsoft put on this game is that this is the next big thing. That every time they spoke about Sea of Thieves, everyone was dressed like a fucking pirate. Like, every interview was taking place on a boat. There were heavy coils of rope everywhere. They're running a competition at the moment where people who were playing the game, if they solve enough riddles, they win £80,000 worth of gold bananas. Like, there's a lot of hype behind this game that Microsoft have pushed there, and I think it's because they needed this game to land because they have nothing else this year that comes close to what Sony is putting out.
I mean, I think that's fair. There have been a lot of comparisons of Sea of Thieves to No Man's Sky, in that the publisher has massively overhyped the game, and you know, people kind of are getting really excited for this big open world experience, and then once they get in there, they're like, actually, what are we doing here? But I don't think it's quite fair because I think No Man's Sky was a very kind of solo introspective experience in space, whereas this is the multiplayer aspect of this is really fun.
Yeah.
And I think there is something about that kind of manual, everyone working together to try and get this ship up and running, and then facing encounters out on the ocean and stuff that is really exciting in and of itself. My big issue is that I think in Australia it's just so expensive.
It's a very expensive
for what it
game.
is. It's like $100 pretty much to be able to play that, and I think, yeah, you're right. There's not enough in that sandbox world to warrant the price that's attached to it.
I think you're totally right with the multiplayer experience being really cool, except for the multiplayer experience. And by that, I mean the player versus player encounters are really, really poorly put together. Like, there's no way, when you engage another ship, or even another player, there's no way for you to actually best that person in combat. It's kind of just who hits first wins, and who doesn't miss the least wins, which I know sounds ridiculous, but like, have you tried to block someone's attack?
Yeah, with the cutlass.
Yeah. What does that do you? Just blocks the attack. Can you counter-attack? No.
I see.
Yeah.
That person can overwhelm you with just keep hitting, and if they have a teammate, then you're done. This game feels like cyberbullying at times. I played a solo mission on my own, and I got jumped by 4 dudes who honestly ruined the game for me in a matter of minutes. They killed me, and then they moved my ship around because I keep respawning on my boat. Unless they're actively blocking every little spawn on the boat, I'm going to keep appearing on the boat, and they bullied me for like 20 minutes, and it was super, super shitty. And I was like, there's nothing I can do here. I've literally got to quit the game. And the 4 guys took my chicken in a box.
Bastards.
Captain Cluckerfield, he was my first mate, or whatever.
Why'd you put him in a box then?
I was doing a merchant mission. One of the 3 missions you can do in the game.
But your
which
first
is collect.
mate.
It was my first mate. I mean, there was no one else to talk to on the ship. I had to make something work. But what I'm trying to say is, mechanically, the game feels really limited. Like, it looks amazing, and the experiences we've had when we do the ship stuff is so fun.
Well,
but once I meet another player, I'm like, oh, God.
That's why I would argue that this isn't a game that you should ever play by yourself.
No. But even then when we play together, the amount of times we've had an engagement, we're like, quickly, the cannons! And we're all going, firing the cannons, and I'm like turning the ship, and it's really cool. And then all of a sudden, the bottom of the boat explodes because they had a dynamite barrel, and it's like,
yeah, but
we've lost!
We learned from that experience, didn't we? The dynamite barrels are what we need to do to go fuck other guys up.
What are we going to do to stop them? There's nothing! I find the game mechanically a little bit funny to work with.
See, so I agree with all those issues, right? My problem with the game is that I just go, you just sold this game wrong. This game should have been either early access, because if you make a game early access, if you go, hey, we're going to be adding to this shit over time, then I excuse all of that. All of that because I'm like, until your game is like a 1.0, then all of this is in flux. And you're learning from this and you're adding to this. So that if the game comes out in early access, I go, wow, what a great foundation for what will be a great game in 2 years' time. And I'm willing to give it more time because I go, I know that you're actively working on this. There's no guarantee that Rare is going to continue actively working on this because they've sold their copies of the game. Microsoft have charged X amount of dollars for it. And so now it's like, well, if it's sold enough and enough people continue playing it, we're going to support it. But if it's sold a heap and people dropped off, there's no reason for us to continue supporting this game. So therefore, you bought just a shell of a game because Microsoft were like, hey, this is going to be the next big thing. And we were like, cool, you must really believe that. The reason they're saying that, though, is because they go, other than that, they have State of Decay 2 and Crackdown 3 coming out this year. Those are the only games of any significance first party that Microsoft have coming out besides this game.
Why do you think that is? What are they doing over there?
I think that
do they have really big things planned for like 2 years from now?
I think they have to, but I think that they started those things way too late. Like the whole launch to Xbox One was about fixing that as an idea of a console. It's not about movies and streaming TV shows. It's just about video games, and that took such a long shift to, transition that now with something like Sea of Thieves, you go, if you launch this, if I was running Microsoft, and I'm not, and I should be, I would have gone, this game is locked behind Game Pass because you launched Xbox Game Pass super close to the release of the game, that you can currently get Game Pass and get the game for free on like a free trial. But if you went, you cannot buy this game for money, you have to subscribe to Game Pass, and it's in early access in there, then that means everyone who wants to play this game is subscribing to that service, and then knowing that this game is going to be iterated over time. And instead, you dumped a bunch of money on something that you're probably going to stop playing.
I really hope they do add to it, because there's so much in it that could be improved with this shell, as you said, that using that as a base. Like, I find it odd that in a game like this, you can't even like customize your character, like just in the appearance. Like you can choose between a bunch of different kind of random cycling characters and choose a bunch of favorites and then pick one of those.
Yeah.
But like the fact that in an open world game like this, where you're living out your pirate fantasies, you can't even like.
You have to roll the dice and hope that it gets close to what
I just want to be able to choose the hair
Fingers
color
crossed.
of my character, so that when you see me on the edge of the boat, you're like, there's Blondie over there, Steph. Looking through a spyglass, leading us into the open ocean.
I will say, and one last thing on this is that, yes, we've been blaming Microsoft for the pitch for this. There's been, the last couple of days, a guy called Rob Bedell, who's a former artist from Rare, has come out about the game and sort of like gave some inside baseball quotes about this.
Gossip!
Yeah, according to Rob, quote, I worked on this game for over 2 years. A lot of the internal people voiced their concerns that the game was insanely repetitive and shallow. This was about a year ago before I left. I guess nothing has changed. I've been waiting a year for this day and the shitstorm that would hit once everyone realized they'd been sold half a game. I'm going to sit back with a few beers and watch the story unfold. And then he goes on and says, all I can say is the plans and ideas for the game were bigger than what was released, but there were never any solid plans for extra game mechanics. The main pirate ship was being constantly worked on for the whole time I was there. That's 2 years for one asset. It became a bit of a joke among us. So he's basically going, They spent all their time working on the minutiae of this game, and I think that that has paid off in that I think that the sailing feels phenomenal. I think that those little touches and flourishes are amazing.
Just being on the ocean feels amazing.
Yeah,
the
ocean
water
looks
is
great.
beautiful.
It looks great.
Yeah.
But that's like, imagine if you're playing Forza and you're like, wow, the tarmac is so amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Gosh, it's like my car handles like dog shit, but oh, the tarmac, it's just terrible.
that's so true. And so I think you're right. Like No Man's Sky comparisons, I didn't want to make at the beginning, but the more I think about it, the more I just go, yeah, this is an issue where, you know, publishers need this enormous hit every single time, and they're kind of willing to say anything.
After
to make it
hearing
happen,
you read that out, I just have like rising panic inside me.
Yeah,
It's like the water is rising inside Steph. We can't patch the holes. That's what Microsoft is right now. They're like, how are we going, team? And they're all shut in the
so
water.
true.
We're good.
Just
we good.
shoving bananas in their mouth.
I want to have faith that they will add more substance to this game. I have to believe, but I guess we don't know.
No, time will tell. But I have asked for your screensays, and here they are. I put the call out on Twitter about whether or not Sea of Thieves is enough bang for your buck. Our answers came in. First up, at a rude enigma, which is very difficult to say. I'm having so much fun playing it at the moment. The joy of the game isn't in having 1,000 different and varied quests to do. It's the stories you make while playing it. I don't think people realize that just because they don't like a game doesn't mean that game is bad. So rude enigma, enough bang for their buck. They're excited about this. At Quowry Strong says, hell no! The grind sucks. The 4v1 deaths suck. If I do join a crew, they just vote to put me in the brig. It's No Man's Sky levels of empty.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
This is the chicken.
I've not even been brigged yet.
The
That's
chicken
a new
is talking
level
to
of
you.
shittiness. That's
Yeah.
another level of abject pirate misery.
Yeah.
You can't even drink your grog in the brig, can you?
No,
you
you
can't
can't.
even drink yourself to death.
It would be too fun in there if you could drink your grog in there.
Bumping all over the walls.
Mars has some issues.
We've had some fun times already, guys. Remember
Yeah,
when
it
I
was
got drunk
super
and I
fun.
fell
We
off
did.
the boat?
We
That
had
was a
You
good
both
time.
fell off the boat.
We had a fun 2 hours. We had a fun 2 hours.
You
around
both fell off the boat, and then I was
We
like,
didn't
we gotta go, man. So I raised the anchor, and then I was like, oh, my mates are in the ocean. And I dropped the anchor.
That Kraken grabbed our boat and dragged it into the ocean.
That was
Good
great.
times.
That was great.
Good
yeah.
times.
Yeah. Was it worth $100?
No. And then at B Gord says, for the Game Pass free trial I'm using, I'd say I'm almost getting my money's worth. It's a real sick burn. What do you guys think about Sea of Thieves at the moment? Are you going to be sticking around on it? Is there enough bang for your buck, or did Microsoft and Rare drop the pooch, to mix some metaphors? Let us know in the comments, and while you're there, NameDatFish using the hashtag NameDatFish. We're out.
I'm gonna go play Deep Rock Galactic because that's an early access game that knows what it is.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I feel like arguably very similar experiences.
But no.
Excuse me, Steph, one is underground and one is on the water.
Good day.
He can't walk anywhere, there's a wall there.
I know, I've got to come back now. Dwarves and pirates.
If you like this video, give us a like and subscribe down below. If you didn't like it though, just give us a hate like and a hate subscribe, and we'll learn from that lesson.
If you really hated it, give us a double hate. Let's click the hate button twice.
We also have videos here and there, on the other side of Nick there, and those are really good videos too, I promise.